Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the weekly MMA Cycles market update. Today is the 24th of April, 2024, and this is Gianni DePocia, your host, coming to you from Central Italy this week. Markets are still on the move. We started off this really intense period with the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction last Saturday, and now tomorrow we look forward to Mercury changing directions and going back direct. So markets are making some important moves. Let's start off by looking at the Dow Jones. We've seen stocks rally off of a low from last week, but can't rule out that another lower high is being completed here. And this would be a really cautionary signal for stocks overall, as they've been a little jittery really since Mercury has gone retrograde and the start of the second quarter. So can't rule out that the final act of the trickster is going to be this rally that we've seen over the last week being a fake out, or is this sell-off that we're seeing today the final fake out associated with Mercury retrograde? With the trickster, you never really know for sure, but we have seen the NASDAQ outperforming over the last couple of days, which is a good sign. But you can see here on Wednesday so far, it was up nicely to start the session, and now it's fading off of that high. So that does suggest some caution in the near term as well. Of course, later this week, we have to contend with the inflation report, the core PCE data, which is the Fed's preferred metric. And the recent trend has been inflation data coming in above estimates, and combined with the stronger than expected labor market has served to push back rate cut expectations significantly. But I will point out that, when we first got that Fed pivot notice in December of 2024, December 13th, actually, it was when Fed Chair Powell pivoted. That was when Mercury went retrograde. And now we've seen another shift in rate cut expectations, again, while Mercury is retrograde. So I think it's prudent not to make any jumps to conclusions as to what the interest rate trajectory is going to be, but safe to say that if inflation keeps coming in above estimates, it's probably not going to bode well for the probability of rate cuts over the next couple of months. Let's go ahead and take a look at the interest rate on the 10-year Treasury note, and you'll see here that it's been consolidating near the highs after a nice rally, and as a rule, has continued to rise over the next couple of months. And we know from a couple of years ago that rising rates has been a real challenge for the technology sector, which is the largest and most important sector in the stock market. So that's going to be a big challenge here. It will open up opportunities for other sectors as well to outperform, like energy. If you take a look at USO here, the crude oil ETF, I think there's a strong probability that a primary cycle trough was completed not long after that Jupiter-Uranus conjunction. And is this a prelude to an explosive move higher in the energy market? Jupiter is the co-ruler of crude oil. Uranus rules breakouts and big moves. So, you have what appears to be a nice saucer or cup and handle pattern forming here on USO. And, that could mean much higher energy prices going into the end of the year. Now, at the start of next week, we do have a couple important signatures. We have Mars conjunct Neptune on the 29th of April. The same day, Venus will ingress into her home sign of Taurus. The following day, Mars will ingress into his home sign of Aries. And then on the 2nd of May, we can look forward to Pluto changing directions and going retrograde. So that could be pretty important for debt markets and even just interest rate expectations. With Pluto in the mix, Mars could be another escalation in geopolitical tensions that could send interest rates higher, as well as commodity prices. So that's what I think we need to keep an eye on right now. But I also want to take a look at the precious metal market. We'll look at GDX as a proxy, and as this is the mining sector ETF. It's held up pretty well. We saw a sharp sell-off to start the week in gold and silver, but some of our downside price objectives, especially in silver, were actually already satisfied. So it could be a higher low of significance. And I've mentioned this before, and I'll reinforce it again, the fact that precious metals have been rallying while interest rates continue to rise represents a major shift in macroeconomic capital flows and should not be ignored at all. So, maybe it has to do with Jupiter in Taurus and, the moon being exalted in Taurus and being bullish for silver. It doesn't really matter at this point. All we know is that precious metals are looking good. They're making new highs, and that should not be ignored. I want to take a look at Bitcoin because we had a special report issued earlier this week. You can check that out at www.mmacycles.com. It's really at an important juncture here. Ray issued that report and highlighted some alternate cycle scenarios here. We could be seeing the 4-year cycle break down into different phases. But if we see the traditional phase breakdown of 3, 15 to 16-month cycles, we cannot rule out that it was completed on the 19th of April, which would have been, well, actually, I think on the cash market here, it was the 17th, but in the futures market, it was in the 19th. We can't rule out that that bottom was completed and it would be a new primary cycle. But we're seeing some selling today. Not the most encouraging sign. Could be a lower high. If we start to break below 60,000, you could get a washout into that low $50,000 area. Otherwise, look for Bitcoin to accelerate to the upside in the coming weeks with an upside target in the near term in the $80,000 to $82,000 area. I want to take a look at the euro and the Japanese yen real quick because we are still seeing strength in the dollar, and really I just think it comes down to because you have the Bank of Japan that just went through that Jupiter-Uranus conjunction. And when it comes to the euro, the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction in Taurus can lead to wide volatility in the currency market. So that's something to be aware of over the next couple of weeks. And taking a look at the dollar against the yen, it continues to consolidate near its highs. Of further downside as it continues to rally to new all-time highs. So this is definitely bullish price action, but we know that there are some longer-term cycles maturing in the Japanese yen, and it could coincide with a culmination of a long-term cycle that leads to a massive reversal and an appreciation in the Japanese yen. So that takes care of all the markets that I wanted to review with you today. I would encourage you to subscribe to our channel and check out all of our work, reports, and educational content at www.mmacycles.com. We also have our Lake Bled retreat in Slovenia to be hosted on the starting on the 19th of September until the 22nd of September. So please check that out and send us a note if you have any questions. We would love to meet you and see you there. That's all for now, everyone. See you next week, same time, same place. We're going to have a couple really special guests in the next 2 videos. So I'm looking forward to having them. See you next time.